The interstellar market was loud, hot, and full of strange smells. Ships landed and took off every minute. Merchants shouted prices, alarms beeped, engines roared. But one voice cut through everything like a knife. Buy one, get one free. 2. Alien women. No one wants them. Take both for the price of one. People nearby laughed as if it was a joke. Some looked at the cage with disgust, others with fear. But most simply walked away. No one even slowed down. The human man named Evan did. He was just passing through the market, searching for spare parts for his small cargo ship. But the vendor's desperate shout made him stop. Something about the tone felt strange. It was not greed. It was fear. Evan turned toward the stall. A metal cage stood behind the vendor, covered partly with a dirty cloth. 2 shapes sat inside. He stepped closer. The vendor saw him and smiled too quickly. "Human, you have good eyes." "Good timing. 2 for 1, he said. His hands trembled slightly. Evan pulled the cloth away. Inside the cage sat 2 alien women. Sisters? The older one held the younger close, as if trying to protect her. The younger one's eyes were wide and scared. Her skin glowed faintly, like moonlight trapped underwater. The older sister stared at Evan without blinking, her eyes cold but full of warning. Evan felt something shift in his chest. He was used to seeing cruelty in different corners of the galaxy. But this felt wrong in a different way. "Why are they so cheap?" he asked. The vendor laughed nervously. "Small issue. Small problem, but harmless. Harmless for a brave human like you." The older sister spoke suddenly. Her voice was low, almost a growl. "Human, do not buy us." The vendor slapped the cage. Silence. But the younger sister grabbed the bars with shaking fingers and whispered, "If you take us, they will follow you." Evan frowned. "Who will follow me?" Both sisters went quiet. Their eyes dropped. Their bodies pressed together as if trying to disappear. The vendor waved his hand. "Ignore them. They say anything to avoid being sold. No one wants them because they are too much trouble. But you look strong. You can handle them. 1 price, 2 girls. Last offer." Something in Evan's instinct screamed that the vendor was hiding something. The whole market atmosphere shifted. A few strangers were now watching him closely, some whispering among themselves. Evan asked quietly, "What did you do to them?" Vendor froze for a second. His smile broke. "Nothing. They are unwanted, but I must sell before someone else comes. Just buy them and go. Quickly." The older sister leaned forward, gripping the bars. "Leave. Walk away. You don't understand what we carry." Evan studied her face. She looked tired, injured, and brave. Not dangerous, not evil. Only afraid. The vendor suddenly glanced over his shoulder, his face turning pale. "Human, decide now. Please. Take them before what?" Evan's eyes followed the vendor's frightened look. At the far end of the market, 3 tall figures in dark armor stood watching the stall. Their helmets hid their faces. Their hands rested on weapons. The 3 hunters were not browsing. They were waiting for him to walk away. Waiting for the sisters to be left alone. The older sister whispered, "If you leave us, we will die today." The younger sister's glowing skin dimmed, like fading light. Evan's heart beat harder. He didn't know who the sisters truly were. He didn't know why they were hunted. He didn't know what secret they carried. But he knew one thing. If he walked away, 2 innocent women would be taken, and they would not survive. The vendor leaned forward, panic shaking his voice. "Human, shh." Evan stepped closer to the cage. "I'll take them," he said. Asterix the vendor did not wait even 1 second after Evan spoke. He grabbed the payment device, slammed Evan's thumb onto it, and the transaction beeped complete. Then, without looking back, he vanished into the crowd like a man escaping fire. Evan had never seen a merchant run that fast. Something was very wrong. He turned toward the cage. The lock clicked open by itself, clearly pre-programmed to release after purchase. The older sister stepped out first, slow and alert like a cornered animal. She scanned every direction. The younger one followed, holding tightly onto her sister's arm. Evan expected them to be relieved, or thankful. They were not. Both looked more scared than before. The older sister spoke first. "You should have walked away." Evan frowned. "Why?" "Tell me what's going on." But she shook her head. "You bought trouble for yourself. And for us." The younger sister tugged her sleeve, whispering, "We should move. They're coming." And they were right. The 3 armored figures from the far end of the market were now walking directly toward them, pushing through the crowd. Their helmets had thin, glowing lines like angry eyes. People stepped aside fast. No one wanted to cross their path. "Who are they?" Evan asked. The older sister swallowed hard. "Hunters." Evan didn't like that answer. What kind of hunters? The kind who don't leave survivors. The younger sister covered her mouth to stop a small cry. Evan saw tears in her eyes, real fear, not acting. He made a decision fast. "Follow me." He led them between stalls, moving quickly, avoiding open spaces. The market crowd helped hide them, but the armored hunters pushed through everyone. They were not losing ground. The older sister kept looking back. They won't stop. They know we're out. Out of what? Evan asked. Out of the cage, out of hiding, out of safety. Evan didn't argue. He kept moving. They passed through a corridor of glowing alien plants, then an area where food stalls steamed and boiled under bright red lamps. The sisters flinched at sudden noises. Evan noticed how the younger one kept pressing her hand against her chest, like she was in pain. He stopped near a quieter alley behind the market. "Explain now." The older sister hesitated. Her jaw tightened. "We are not criminals. We didn't hurt anyone. But our kind is rare and misunderstood." "That doesn't explain hunters with weapons," Evan replied. She looked straight into his eyes. "We were born with an ability others fear. And they want to either control us or erase us." Evan opened his mouth to ask more, but a shadow moved. One of the hunters stood at the end of the alley he had found them. The hunter slowly raised a weapons leak, black, humming with dangerous energy. Evan stepped in front of the sisters without thinking. The hunter spoke with a distorted voice. "Human, move aside." Evan didn't move. The hunter aimed. "They are not your concern." The older sister clenched her fists. "They want us dead because of what we are," Evan whispered sideways. "What are you?" The younger sister answered this time, voice shaking. "We absorb energy. From life, from stars, from anything." Evan blinked. "Is that dangerous?" "Only if uncontrolled," the older said. And she pointed to her sister, "cannot control hers yet." Before Evan could react, the hunter fired. A bright blue shot flew through the air. The younger sister screamed and threw up her hands. A burst of silver-white energy exploded from her palms, absorbing the shot and sending a shockwave down the alley. The hunter flew back, armor sparking, slamming into a wall. The younger sister collapsed. Trembling, Evan stared, shocked, amazed, terrified. "What was that?" he whispered. The older sister grabbed the younger tightly. "That is why we run. That is why no one wanted us." Evan looked at the unconscious hunter, then at the frightened sisters, and he realized something important. He didn't buy 2 alien women. He rescued two beings who, the galaxy, was terrified of and who were terrified of themselves. Asterisk. Evan did not wait for the hunter to wake up. He grabbed both sisters by their arms, not roughly, but firmly, and guided them away from the alley. The younger sister was still trembling from the energy burst. The older one kept looking behind, every few seconds ready to shield her again. The market noise seemed far away now. Every sound felt dangerous. Every shadow felt like a warning. "Your ship," the older sister said suddenly. "Take us there. It's our only chance." Evan nodded. This way, they pushed through crowded walkways, moving fast. The younger sister's legs shook like she could barely stand. Evan supported her, and she leaned on him, breathing unevenly. Her glowing skin flickered like a weak light bulb. "Is she okay?" Evan whispered. "She used too much power," the older sister answered. "She can't control the amount she releases. It drains her." The younger sister murmured softly, "I'm sorry." Evan shook his head. "You saved my life." But her eyes filled with tears anyway. She looked like she carried a lifetime of guilt in her small frame. Behind them, an alarm suddenly echoed across the market. A harsh, metallic voice announced, "Attention, energy burst detected. Hunters in pursuit. Secure all exits." People began to panic. Gates started to close. Loud metal shutters slid down in every direction. Evan felt his heart drop. "They're locking the station." The older sister grabbed his hand. "We must move." Now, they ran. The sliding shutters were dropping faster. Evan dodged between crates, jumped over cables, weaving through rushing crowds. The sisters followed closely, though the younger one stumbled every few steps. A large gate ahead started closing, slow but steady. "That's the last path to the docks." Evan shouted. They sprinted. The gate kept lowering. Faster. The older sister yelled. Evan grabbed the younger sister's wrist, pulling her with all his strength. The older sister ran beside them, pushing away crates and bags blocking their path. The gate was halfway down, then 2/3, then almost closed. Evan dropped to the ground, then slid under the narrow gap, pulling the younger sister with him. The older sister dove under at the last second. The metal gate slammed shut behind them with a heavy crash. They lay there, breathing hard. For a moment, everything was silent except their gasping breaths. The younger sister whispered, "I thought I would be trapped." Evan helped her sit up. "You're safe. You're safe." But he knew they weren't safe, not yet. The docks stretched ahead like a maze of glowing platforms, cargo containers and ship engines. His small ship, the Horizon Step, was parked near the end. They moved quickly across the platforms, but the older sister suddenly stopped. Her eyes widened. She pointed to the sky. For hunter ships descended from above, black, sharp, silent. They surrounded the docks like wolves trapping prey. "They were waiting," she whispered. Evan clenched his jaw. "They won't stop, will they?" "No," she replied softly. "Not until we are dead." The younger sister grabbed Evan's sleeve. "We didn't want you involved. We didn't want this." Evan stared at the hunter ships. He felt fear rising, but also something else: stubbornness, human instinct, a refusal to let innocent people be hunted for existing. "You are involved," the older sister said, almost an apology. Evan shook his head. "No, I chose this." The sisters looked at him, shocked again by the same thing that had shocked them since the moment he bought them. Humans were not like other species. Before they could move, one of the hunter ships opened its side hatch, revealing armored soldiers. Inside, a voice echoed across the dock. "Human. Release the sisters. Leave them, and you walk away alive." The younger sister's hand tightened around Evan's coat. Her whole body shook. Evan did not step back. He stepped forward. "Come, take them," he shouted. The older sister whispered. Stunned, "Why would you fight for us?" Evan answered without looking at her eyes, locked on the hunters, "Because no one else ever did." The hunters did not wait after Evan's challenge. One of them stepped forward with a heavy weapon, glowing blue at the tip. The air around it crackled like lightning trapped inside a metal tube. People on nearby platforms ran for cover. No one wanted to be close to whatever was about to happen. Evan felt the sisters move behind him. The older one pulled the younger close, shielding her like she had done many times before. But even she could not hide the fear in her eyes. "You can't fight them alone," she whispered. "I'm not alone," Evan said. He didn't mean weapons or strength. He meant something else: courage. Choice. The simple human decision to stand. But courage didn't block bullets. Stay low. He said. The hunter fired first. A beam of blue energy shot forward like a spear. Evan grabbed a metal crate beside him and pulled it in front of them. The beam hit the crate, melting a deep hole through it. The heat scorched Evan's arm. He gritted his teeth. The younger sister gasped and pressed her hands together, light quickly forming between them. The older sister grabbed her wrists. "No. Don't use it. You'll collapse again, but he'll die." The younger cried. The older sister shook her head. "Not yet. Not until we have no choice." Evan shouted back at the hunters. "Why do you want them dead? What did they do?" The lead hunter stepped closer. His armor gleamed under the dock lights. "Their kind disrupts the balance of worlds. They are living energy sources. If they lose control, entire cities fall." The older sister lifted her chin. "We never harmed anyone. We were born this way." "And that is the problem," the hunter replied. More hunters jumped out of the ship, forming a half circle. The younger sister's light flared again. She was trembling hard. Evan saw that she wasn't trying to attack. Her fear was triggering the power. The older sister whispered urgently to her. "Breathe. You can control it. You must control it." But she couldn't. Her glow brightened and dimmed. Like a candle fighting against wind, the hunters noticed. "She's unstable," one of them muttered. "Take them now." Evan didn't think. He acted. He pulled a small EMP disc from his belt, clicked it on, and threw it forward. It exploded in a white flash. The closest hunters' visors flickered, their weapons sputtering for a second. "Run!" Evan yelled. They sprinted toward his ship. The docks shook behind them as the hunters recovered and opened fire. Blue beams hit the metal ground, sending sparks everywhere. The younger sister tripped. Evan caught her before she fell. She looked weak, like her strength was fading fast. "I'm slowing you down," she whispered. "Leave me." Evan almost laughed. "I didn't save you to leave you." The older sister stared at him like she was seeing something impossible. Why do humans care so much for strangers? Evan smirked as they ran. Bad habit. They reached the horizon step. Evan slammed his palm onto the scanner. The ramp lowered. They rushed inside. Evan pushed the sisters toward the control room. "Strap in." The ship shook as a hunter's blast hit the rear engine. Warning lights flashed red. The younger sister gasped, her glow sparking violently. She grabbed her chest. The older sister held her tight. "Stay with me, please." Evan powered the ship. The engines roared. Another blast rocked the hull. The dock cracked under the force. The hunters shouted through comms. "Human, surrender the sisters or be destroyed." Evan hit the thrusters so hard the entire ship screamed. "Come destroy me then," he muttered. The ship shot forward, braking. Through the dock's energy barrier, alarms echoed. The hunters followed. Behind them, space opened like a black ocean full of danger. Ahead of them, nothing but the unknown. The younger sister leaned weakly against the seat. They won't. Stop! Evan gripped the controls, eyes burning with determination. Then, neither will I. The horizon step burst into open space like a wounded animal escaping a cage. Evan pushed the engines to maximum, forcing the ship to speed through the asteroid belt ahead. Behind them, 3 hunter ships followed like silent predators. Alarms. Screamed. The ship shook again and again as debris scraped the hull. The younger sister clung to her seat, breathing fast, her glow flickering dangerously. The older sister tried to calm her, whispering soft words in a language Evan didn't understand. Evan tightened his hands on the controls. Hold on, I'll get us out. The older sister looked at the radar. They're getting closer. They always get closer, Evan said, trying to keep his voice steady. The hunters opened fire. Blue beams sliced through the air. One beam barely missed the left wing by a few meters. Another hit an asteroid, exploding it into a cloud of burning dust. Evan swerved sharply, avoiding a collision. This is going to get messy. The younger sister gasped. I can help. No. The older sister interrupted firmly. You're too weak. You'll hurt yourself. Evan glanced at the younger sister. Her hands were glowing again, uncontrolled. Focus on breathing. Don't push yourself. The glow dimmed slightly, but she still looked like she was fighting. Something inside hers, something powerful and unstable. Another beam hit the ship, jolting it violently. The lights flickered. We can't take many hits, Evan muttered. The older sister swallowed. There is a hiding field near the mining sector. If we reach it, they'll lose lock for a moment. A moment is enough, Evan said. He steered the ship toward a dense cluster of rocks near an abandoned mining zone. Broken machinery floated in space-rusted arms, old drill heads, smashed generators, perfect cover, but also dangerous. Evan pulled the ship through narrow gaps, dodging floating metal chunks. The hunters followed, but with less skill. One of them crashed into a mining beam and exploded in a burst of blue flames. That's one. Evan breathed. The older sister watched the burning debris fade. They won't stop because one falls. No, Evan replied. They entered the hiding field Dan area filled with heavy mineral dust that confused scanners. The ship lights turned dim orange as the dust surrounded them like fog. Radar is blind, Evan said. This is good. Or very bad. The older sister looked tense. Move slowly. Don't hit anything. But suddenly, something hit them. A hunter ship slammed into the hull from behind, trying to force them out of the field. The impact threw everyone forward. The younger sister screamed as a bright flash burst from her hands, lighting the whole cockpit. Control it. The older sister shouted, I can't. The younger cried. Her glow expanded, covering her arms, her shoulders, creeping up her neck like spreading light. Evan could feel the heat from it. She's overheating, the older sister said in panic. If she loses full control, she'll release everything. What happens if she releases everything? Evan asked. The older sister closed her eyes. She will burn herself out. Evan felt something twist in his chest. Not on my ship. Not while I'm here. The hunter ship outside fired another blast, hitting the hull and spinning them sideways. Sparks burst from the ceiling. The younger sister's power spiked, forming a bright halo around her. The older sister held her wrists. Stay with me. Stay with me. You're not alone anymore. The words hit the younger sister harder than the attacks. Her glow trembled, then slowly faded. Though not completely. Evan hit the thrusters and burst out of the hiding dust cloud. Only one hunter ship remained, and it was waiting. It fired immediately. The horizon step swerved, but the shot grazed the Lower hull. Panels blew off, spinning into space. The younger sister looked at Evan with fearful eyes. They won't stop. They want us dead. Evan stared at the final hunter ship, his jaw set like stone. Then we finish this. His voice was calm. The kind of calm that comes before something dangerous. The older sister whispered, "What are you planning?" Evan stared ahead. Something only a human would try. Evan didn't give the sisters time to question. He pushed the ship forward, charging straight toward the last hunter ship. The older sister grabbed the edge of her seat. "Human, are you mad? They'll fire again." "Yes," Evan said calmly. "That's why we get close enough so they can't." The hunter ship fired another beam. Evan tilted the horizon step sharply, the blast sliding past the hull by inches. The younger sister screamed as the ship spun, but Evan kept control, gripping the controls with every muscle in his arms. The hunter turned, confused by the move. They were not expecting a small cargo ship to attack. Evan pushed harder. The older sister stared at him. "Why are you doing this for us?" Evan didn't look away from the front screen. "Because you deserve to live." The words hit both sisters like a shockwave. No one had said that to them before. The hunter ship charged up a weapon bigger, brighter, dangerous. The power core inside it pulsed like a beating heart. The younger sister gasped. "That's a disintegration beam," noted. Evan said. "Evan, that beam will destroy our ship." The older sister shouted. "Yes," he replied, "if they hit us." The hunter fired. The beam shot forward like a flaming blue spear. Evan pulled the ship down at the same second, diving under the blast. The beam passed overhead, barely missing them. The force shook the horizon step violently. The younger sister almost fell, her glow sparking again. Evan turned and shouted over the noise, "Don't use your power. Save your strength." "I'm trying," she cried. Evan swerved the ship upward, lifting them toward the hunter. The hunter tried to turn, but Evan was faster. Humans weren't known for having the best ships, but they were known for doing insane things no one else attempted. He pushed the ship toward the rear engine of the hunter. The older sister realized what he was planning. "You're going to disable them from behind." "Yes, you'll get too close," she warned. "Yes. They might explode." "That too." The older sister stared at him like he was a storm, wrapped in human skin. But she trusted him. The hunter ship turned its weapons backward, trying to aim at Evan, but the horizon step flew too close for them to lock on. Evan aimed straight at the rear engine, then fired a small EMP missile. The missile hit clean. The hunter ship flickered. Its engine sputtered. Its lights died one by one. Then boom, a small explosion erupted from its core. The hunter ship spun out of control, drifting downward, like a dying star. Evan exhaled slowly. "That's the last one," but the older sister shook her head. "No, hunters never travel alone. They belong to someone higher." As if her words were a curse, the radar beeped. A huge silhouette appeared behind them in space. A massive warship drifted into view 5 times larger than Evan's ship, covered in black armored plates with symbols of the hunter faction glowing red along its side. The younger sister whispered shakily, "That is an execution cruiser." Evan felt cold run through his body. "Execution, as in?" "They do not arrest," the older sister said softly. "They destroy." The cruiser released a wave of drones, hundreds of small hunter units shaped like metal insects, all locking onto the horizon step. Evan turned on the engines again. "We run." Now the younger sister clutched her chest. I can help." "No," the older sister said, holding her tightly. "You'll burn your life away." "But if I don't," she whispered, we all die. Evan glanced at her in the mirror. She was pale, glowing weakly, her hands trembling. He shook his head. We'll find another way. I won't let you destroy yourself. The drones closed in like a storm. The older sister whispered, voice breaking, Evan, humans are strange. Why? He asked. You protect us even when we cannot protect ourselves. He glanced at them with a small, tired smile. That's what makes us human. The radar beeped faster. The drones were seconds away. The execution cruiser charged a giant weapon. The younger sister whispered one final line, full of fear and destiny. The whole galaxy is coming for us. Evan stared ahead, eyes hard. Then the galaxy can try. The drones swarmed like a cloud of metal insects, blinking red as they locked onto the horizon step. The massive execution cruiser loomed behind them like a floating giant, its cannon charging with enough power to vaporize a small moon. The sisters watched in silence, pressed close together, their fear filling the small ship like cold air. Evan didn't blink. His hands flew across the controls, pulling the ship into a steep rise. The drones followed instantly, their engines buzzing like angry wasps. The older sister whispered, we cannot outrun them. Evan didn't argue. He knew she was right, but quitting was not in his blood. He tapped a button near his chair. A small emergency beacon lit up. What did you activate? The older sister asked. A distress signal, Evan said. Humans are in this sector. The younger sister's eyes widened. Will they come? Evan smiled faintly. Humans always come when someone needs help. The drones shot toward them, firing sharp red beams. Evan pulled the ship sharply to the left, then down, weaving through heavy space debris. The horizon step shook violently as fragments of metal scraped the hull. One drone smashed into a broken satellite, exploding in a burst of sparks. But there were still hundreds. The execution cruiser fired a warning blast. A massive blue beam cut through space, missing the horizon step by only a few meters. The heat from it rolled over the ship, making alarms shriek. The younger sister cried out as the energy burst triggered her glow again. She pressed her hands together, trying not to lose control. Evan looked back at her quickly. Stay with us. Don't burn yourself. I don't want to hurt you. She whispered shakily. You won't, Evan said. Behind them, the execution cruiser charged another blast, bigger, brighter, deadly. The older sister whispered, Evan, you tried everything. We don't want you to die with us. Evan didn't respond. His eyes stayed on the controls, but inside, something heavy pressed against his chest. Then a sharp beep sounded. Evan's eyes widened. Oh no. The older sister whispered, What is that? Evan answered quietly, That is human reinforcement. 5 dots appeared on the radar, then 10, then 20. Suddenly, the darkness of space lit up with white streaks, human ships dropping out of warp, sleek, silver, and fast. Fighters, cruisers, even a battle frigate. Their engines glowed like blue fire. The younger sister gasped. They came for you. For us, Evan corrected. The human commander's voice filled the comms. Civilian vessel Horizon Step, we received your distress signal. Reinforcements inbound. Stay alive. Evan laughed softly. Good advice. The drones turned to face the new threat. The execution cruiser shifted position, preparing for battle. But humans did not hesitate. A wave of missiles shot from the human ships. Bright explosions lit the dark sky. Drones fell like burning insects. Human fighters zipped past them, forming a protective circle around the horizon step. The older sister stared in shock. Your people. They fight so fearlessly. That's our bad habit, Evan said with a smile. The execution cruiser fired back, sending destructive beams across the battlefield. The human frigate took a hard hit, but didn't fall. Instead, it charged forward, placing itself between the horizon step and the enemy ship. The younger sister whispered, "They protect you. The way you protect us." Evan softened. "You're part of my crew. My responsibility, my people protect their own." The older sister touched the younger's hand gently. We have people now." Evan nodded once. Yes. Another explosion flashed outside. The human frigate unleashed a final barrage. The execution cruiser's shields cracked, then broke. The giant ship shuddered, engines failing. With one last overloaded blast of light, the cruiser exploded. Sending a shockwave across the battlefield, silence filled the cockpit. The sisters stared out the window, stunned. The hunters who chased them their whole lives were gone. The younger sister's glow softened to a calm, gentle light. "Evan, what happens now?" Evan leaned back, exhausted but smiling. "Now, you're safe, you're free, and you stay with me until you decide where you want to go." The older sister breathed out slowly, emotion finally breaking through. "No one ever saved us before." Evan looked at them with quiet warmth. "Then I'm glad I was the first." The human ships formed a protective formation around the horizon. Step, guiding them forward through peaceful space. For the first time in their lives, the sisters didn't have to run. They had a home. They had a human, and the galaxy could never take that away again. Asterisk.